Hi folks, and welcome back to Fishing with Den. Well, this time I'm going to show you how to make some slightly more advanced Waggler floats, specifically ones with interchangeable tips. As you see, I can change from a thick one to a thin one, or longer and shorter. I've got a range of them down here on the bench. These are ones I use all the time. You'd have to make up your own, of course, but basically it's only some 2mm bamboo skewer cane and the insides of ballpoint refills, and I'll show you a bit more about that later. But on the subject of the materials, I've gone back to making them out of this reed. This is the stuff that I found on the riverbank at the end of last winter, and it's just lying around. It's very lightweight. In the UK it's probably called something like Norfolk reed or something very similar. Over here I've got no idea what it's called, but it's lightweight, it's robust, and it works great for floats. And of course that's what I'm making these floats out of today. Now I've already told you about the interchangeable tips for them, but this one also has a loaded base, which unfortunately you can't see because I've already made it. But in essence, all I'm going to do is to take a piece of 2.5 or 3mm brass rod, and that's what this base section is made of here. It just gets inserted and it makes the float sit to somewhere about here when you're fishing. All it means is you just have to put less weight down the line, and that just means it's easier all round. So I suppose we better get on with it, had we? So these are the components we're going to need then. For the first one, we need obviously a body. We need this little plastic insert here to hold the tip, and we're going to have this piece of brass as the loading. On the other one, obviously we've got a body, the same little insert, but this time down at the bottom we're just going to have the little piece of bamboo sticking out. Same process as previously then. I'm just going to sand off both of these and then do the assembly. As I showed you in the previous video, these reeds that you get from the riverbank always have a waxy coating on to keep them waterproof. And that's great while on the riverbank, but for our purposes we want to get rid of it altogether. You don't need to rub the thing down too much. As long as you've got rid of that shine, that takes you back to the base material, and that will take paint. That's the first one done. Just do the bottom, make sure it's nice and square, and just round it off a little, like so. Same at this end. There we go. Now these inserts here started their lives as the inside of these pens. Obviously it's the bit that contains the ink, and all you do is take it out, remove the pointy end, and then just run it under a tap, and it will actually flow out quite neatly. Now it is important to get gel pens. If you just get the normal blue ballpoint pens, the inside tube here is actually too narrow to take the bits of bamboo that we need, and also it doesn't just flow out with water. So make sure you get pastel gel pens and you should be fine. The diameter of the hole in this is around about 2mm. Now I did take the opportunity to make some up previously, and these ones are for the tip, and I'll just glue them on and cut them off here. They'll obviously be inserted and glued inside there. And then I also made some other ones which are here. Now these ones here, you can see I've inserted the bamboo almost all the way into the little plastic insert, and again on this one, when I put it in, it will be glued like that. Nice easy way to do it, isn't it? As far as the loading, I'll come back to that, as I say, shortly. We need to know how much loading to put in each one, so a little bit of testing needs to go on there. Time now to do some gluing up. I'm using araldite. This is the 5-minute stuff, so need to be fairly quick. And it's just a question of inserting it into the tube almost all the way in. I'm going to create myself a little ridge around there later, just give that a bit of a wipe off. Same for this one. Okay, there we go. Almost all the way in. Just get rid of that little bit of extra there, you don't want it dripping. And on the base, there we go. That can go pretty much all the way in as well. Okay, so just give that a roll, make sure it's looking correct. That looks pretty good as it stands. Maybe a fraction more. Yep, I think that's got it. Give it a few seconds, let the thing set up, and then we'll get the base in on the other one. Okay, so now what we have to do is to check the loading for the float. We don't want this brass thing to be too big or too small, so we have to put it into this water and just check it. What I'm going to do is I've put a little piece of that 2mm bamboo into the end of this piece of silicone. I'm going to put this brass into the other end. I know it looks a bit weird at the moment, but it gets worse. Okay, what we're going to do is we're not going to put this into the bottom of the float because that's open. We're going to put it into the top of the float and just put it in like that. So the idea being that we're just going to dunk this into the water here and see where this float sits. Obviously we don't want it to come over the top of the float because that would defeat the object. And if I've got this right, yep, not bad at all. We've got something like 30mm of float sticking out. Just give it a quick bob up and down. Don't want to leave it until too long because obviously we've taken off the waterproofing now. But really, that's how you do that part, folks. I've had a dig around in my box of chopped up bits over there to find myself another little insert. So that's going to go into the base, and as you can see it fits neatly. And then obviously I'm going to put that into there, and the idea is just to arrow out the whole thing together, which I'll do now. Okay, let's get some araldite on here. There we go. Nice and flat. Araldite onto the brass insert. Insert that. Leave yourself about 1 centimetre or so showing. Just wipe off any excess. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to give myself a bit of a thing around here. Because this glue is going off really quickly and I wanted to give myself a bit of a shoulder around the top on each of them. It's already starting to go off. Right. Okay, you might want to wear gloves for this, guys. So, just a question of waiting for those to dry now. So now we get to the painting part, and I'm going to try something different. I bought some spray paint. It said it's good for no primer required, and it's good for wood, metal and plastic, which is what we've got in these things. So what I've done is I've just stuck a bamboo skewer into where the tip's normally going to go, and I'm going to spray it. This is black satin. Hopefully it works. Right, well I've given it an hour or so and come back. I've given it 2 coats and I'm pretty pleased with that. So while I'm on the subject of trying something different, I'm going to try this spray on polyurethane varnish as well. See how it works. first mistake. The wind was going that way. Forethought and planning, Dennis. Forethought and planning. Right, let's do the second one. Pretty simple so far. It's the following morning and both floats are dry now. They've both had 2 coats of black paint and 2 coats of that spray varnish. Hopefully that's enough, but obviously I'm going to have to try these out. If for some reason it doesn't work, and I have no reason to suspect that it wouldn't, but if for some reason it doesn't work, I can always go back to painting them the way I did in the previous video, where I showed you how to make the basic insert Waggler floats. So, as I said before, these are interchangeable tips, so all we do is we can take that one out of there, that one out of there, and just put each one in each. So therefore you can make longer tips, shorter tips, fatter tips, or whatever. Let's have a quick look at the ones on the desk. So as you can see, I've already made an assortment of different size and colour of tips, and so I can just interchange them at any point if I want to. You've already seen me interchange these two, but for example, if I wanted to go to a longer version, I can use this style, again, just the same 2mm bamboo, but just longer and in different top colours. I can also go to thicker tops, as you see here. Now this is that same pen refill, just cut down with the 2mm bamboo inserted in there and painted up in all the different colours I need. Now this one you'd use if conditions are a bit more rough. Obviously if you've got very thin tips, they may get dragged under if you're fishing on the bottom, so this is just another possibility for you to use. And as always, you just put them in, like so, and there's your float. So of course the final thing we have to do is to check out the loaded float. That's this one here. And if I just put this tip in, I'll drop him in, and as you can see, it's floating with probably about, oh I don't know, a couple of centimetres sticking up. And of course a loaded float's really good because it enables you to have a lot less shot on the line. And of course, those of you who made the floats from the original video, the straightforward insert wagglers, are going to be thinking, well, why didn't you tell me this before? Well, don't worry, we've actually managed to resolve the problem for you. You can modify those floats as well. If you look here, this is the original float that I made, and all I've done is I've just sanded back the tip, having cut it away a little bit, added some of that tubing, and of course now I can insert the tips in the usual way. So if you want to modify them, you can do that. It shouldn't be any kind of an issue. It will involve just a little bit of sanding back so you can get the little piece of tubing on, but it will mean you can now have interchangeable tips as well. So that's it for another one then, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know the score. Click the like button. If you want to subscribe, you can do that too. Until the next time, bye for now.